Well, good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. Welcome tonight to session number four. Session number four to the road to financial freedom. I welcome all of you who are joining us from Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. We welcome you tonight. This is session number four, and we're going to be talking about credit repair. Is your credit in need of repair? So we are thankful tonight that you are with us. I'm glad that you have joined us. And I hope that this has been, matter of fact, I know it's been beneficial to you. And so we are glad that you're here. So as we continue this series, this is session number four. We have 8 more to go. So stay locked in. Make sure that you're following our pages so that you can get updates, immediate updates as it relates to what we're doing. There is a change in our regularly scheduled broadcasts. So tonight, I am thankful that I get to share the stage with my husband and my friend, Pastor Kurt Buckmeyer. So welcome all of you. I see you joining in from the different platforms tonight. We are glad that you're here. So listen, I am going to turn it over to my husband, Pastor Kurt, and allow him to share his knowledge and wisdom.
Good night, everybody, and welcome back to the road to financial freedom. It's always good to be able to spend time with you guys. I'm going to share my screen. Let me know when you can put that up. But it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. The sun is shining, birds are singing. And here we are once again talking about finances. And as Pastor Nedra talked about, just give you, for those of you who might be catching this later on the recast, or you haven't been following with us, we're talking about finances, but instead of giving you like a quick 8 weeks, what the Lord laid in my heart was to do this once a month, to walk us through, like the title says, the road to financial freedom. So we have 12 sessions. We're in the 4th session. In January, we started out primarily talking about budgets and making sure everybody has a budget. So at this time, you should have a budget, whether it's on paper, spreadsheet, or on your cell phone. You should have some kind of plan in terms of, your finances, knowing what's coming in, what's going out, and then you can make the appropriate adjustments. We talked about saving your tax returns. I know many of us have it in our mind, probably have the money already spent, but if you just set aside that money or a portion of that money, do it consistently, you'll be able to save up some money. So many times we can't figure out how we're going to be able to do this. You just have to get creative. February, we talked a little, we covered getting a credit report. We'll do that again tonight as well. But primarily, we talked about getting out of debt, right? Paying off your debts with the snowball method and saving an emergency fund. Then March, we went into details, elaborating on saving for an emergency fund, saving up 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. Then we talked about utilizing your credit cards over your debit cards. And just by way of testimony, my son travels around and, you give this information out for people and he was using his debit card instead of his credit card, like I've been teaching. And somewhere someone skimmed his debit card and began to take transactions out of his bank account. And that's a real world example of why, especially when you're traveling around, you go into some of these small gas stations, not the quick trips or the racetracks, not the big ones, but you're traveling around in some of these small towns. A lot of these, sometimes they have skimmers on the card. And next thing you know, someone is utilizing your bank account without your knowledge and without your permission. So again, reiterated, get to the place where you're using your credit card instead of your debit card. You get the rewards of that. reward points, but it's build your credit, because when you use your debit card, you don't build your credit. But again, in terms of dealing with your finances, you have to develop habits. You want to be disciplined in terms of utilizing your finances, because the more money you make, the more money you're able to make, the more money you have to manage. Okay, if you don't manage your money will manage you. And what we're trying to do is give you the tools and the steps for you to be able to manage your money wisely. So we're at the fourth lesson, and tonight we want to talk about credit reports and credit repair. We understand that not everybody is in a place where they desire to be financially, and you have a lot of companies out here that will, for a fee, will repair or attempt to repair your credit for you. What I would like to show you on tonight is some of the steps they will take if you pay them to do it. But why would you spend hundreds or thousands of dollars for someone to do something you can do yourself? The only difference between you and them is they have the knowledge and experience, right? And what I want to give you on tonight is the knowledge, so you can take that knowledge and then develop the experience. And if you're able to do it for yourself and see some success, then you'll be able to help out your children or your family members, your peeps and them. But the information is readily available to everybody. It's not a mystery. It's just that no one ever sits us down and walk us through the steps that we need to take in order to do the things that's required to either build our credit score or dispute some of the information in our credit report, or even get a credit report and be able to read a credit report. So without further ado, let's go ahead and discuss this this evening. So the first thing we want to talk about, which we've talked about before, but we're going to just review it for some who may not have heard us the first time, is how to get a credit report, right? Getting a credit report is fairly straightforward and fairly simple now, because what's transpired is if you go to annualcreditreport.com, it says consumers can get a free credit report from the three major credit bureaus. There are three major credit bureaus that you're able to track your credit from, and you should pull your credit report from each one of them, because you just want to make sure the information is correct and consistent in each report. These credit bureaus are regional, and so you have Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. And one of the things, I don't know if I've experienced identity theft. So with that, I went to purchase a car one time, and the dealership, the guy who was helping me says, "I saw you lived in Detroit." And I'm like, "No, I don't live in Detroit. That's the guy who stole my identity. He lives in Detroit." So you want to be aware of what's on your credit file. You want to be aware, so that way you can properly dispute the credit, send disputes to the credit card companies in order to get your credit report cleaned up. So you're able to pull your credit report by going to annualcreditreport.com. By federal law, you're entitled to one free credit report a year. And then since the pandemic, they made it permanent where you're able to get a free credit report every 7 days or weekly. So you probably won't need to pull your credit report that many times or that level of frequency, but check it once a month, check it twice a year. No matter how many times, check it. At least once a year, you should be pulling your credit report to verify what's on it, right? To understand what your credit score is, to do the things you need to do in order to increase your credit score. And we're going to talk about that on tonight. So in order to get your credit report from Equifax, and we're going to talk about it, and then we'll see it's replicated. So you go to annualreport.com, you just open up your browser, go to annualreport.com, and then you select which one of the three credit bureaus that you want to pull your credit report for. It's going to ask you to click the next button. That's you can't see it clearly here, but if you go to the website and follow through the instructions, you'll be able to see it. And then you have to fill out some personal information. your name, your birth date, social security number, and address. Okay. And if you've lived in your address less than 2 years, you'll need to put your previous address as well. You put in the information and you just follow through the prompts on the website. And then that's it. That's it. And if you do that for each selection, same thing for TransUnion, same thing for Experian. Okay. You just go to the web. This is how simple and easy it is, right? Just go to the website, fill out the information, request your credit report, and then you will get that information, right? So you also have the ability to get it by mail. You just have to download the form, right? And the information I'm giving you, I believe I pulled it off of clarkhoward.com. Okay, so you can download the report or you can request a report by phone, right? And just put this here. So if those of you who are watching, you'll be able to capture this information. These are the numbers for the different credit bureaus if you ever have to get a hold of them. But that's how simple it is in order for you to be able to obtain a copy of your credit report. And again, it's available to you once a week. It's not necessary to pull it that often. Things are not going to change that often, but maybe once a month, twice a year, or at a minimum, once a year, you should pull your credit report so you're able to see what's on it. Okay. So now with that being said, okay, this is what you would probably spend money on and pay individuals in order for you to be able to make changes or increase your credit score. And once you have your credit report, you're able to read it, double check the accounts, double check the account information, make sure there's no erroneous information there, information that should have dropped off that did not drop off. Maybe you've had issues with companies in the past and they've took some retribution against you and put something on your credit report. So this is the opportunity that you have now. Once you've evaluated once you have the ability to evaluate your credit report. So we're talking about now how to repair, steps to take to repair your credit report. And again, so step number one is getting your credit report. So we've already talked about how you can do that from the three major credit bureaus. Step number two is you're going to dispute errors, right? Errors in personal information such as name reported incorrectly by creditor won't have an effect on your credit report. But one of the things it can help you do is if you spot errors, you can begin to see if see if anybody has tried to steal your identity. As we examine what's going on in our country and the proliferation of individuals coming into the country illegally, for many of them, in order to work, what they will do is they'll just buy someone's identity information. Like I said, I had my identity stolen over a decade ago. So we are very acutely aware of the ramifications of what transpired. My son, again, he got my youngest son, he got a bill from the IRS stating that he earned money in California and he didn't pay the taxes on it. And I'm like, dude, you better dispute that right away. What happened? Someone stole his identity, worked in California, earned money, and did not pay the taxes on it. He lives in Georgia. He never worked in California. So by pulling your credit card information, your credit bureau information, you're able to spot potentially individuals who are trying to steal your identity, okay? And you have the ability to dispute it right away and let the credit bureau know, as well as potentially letting the IRS know, okay? So in terms of increasing your credit score, one of the things you want to do is bring your payment history or payments 30 days or more past due can be reported to the credit bureaus as late. And you want to bring past due accounts current because that has a negative effect on your credit score. A simple thing of paying something late will whether you recognize it or not, uh, has a negative effect on your credit score. I had a situation where I wasn't something I thought I paid. I think it was a PayPal bill or something like that. It was $5.99, $5.99, right? Simple as that. And I let it go past 30 days past due. I got a notification because I have a credit monitoring service. I got a notification that my credit score had dropped. I'm like, what? Because I was past due on one account for $5.99. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So you have to understand the algorithm. You have to understand the components that goes into your credit score, and late payment history affects your credit score. So you may have the money and just happen, maybe you're a procrastinator. Maybe you're upset with the company and you don't want to pay them, so you pay them late. But that has a negative effect on your credit score. So if you're late but not 30 days behind, you want to bring it current immediately, or even no matter how far you are behind, okay, you want to begin to do what you need to do to bring your credit, get all the late payments off your credit report, okay? If you can't afford to make the payment, then contact the lender. One of the things I try to communicate to people all the time is when lenders are calling you, don't duck them just because you don't have the money. Okay, that tends to make the situation worse. Because of the times that we're in, because of the challenges in the economy, many lenders have programs that you can, hardship options that you can opt into that won't adversely affect your credit because you're actively working with the company. When we had challenges in the past, one of the things when I talked to a creditor, the first thing I used to tell him is, you're going to get paid, you're going to get your money in full, right? So that's off the table. I'm not trying to duck you. I'm not going to file bankruptcy. You're going to get your money. You're going to get it in full. We just have, and so from that point on, once they hear that, they will work with you. Okay, so you need to be aware of that. Don't duck, don't hide, don't run from your creditors. Okay, they all they're trying to do is collect the debt, and they will work with you. Hear me when I tell you, they will work with you. Okay. So as you continuing to work, many of us are very busy. Especially if you're entrepreneur and you have many hats in the fire, irons in the fire. Some of you guys have ministries, you have nonprofits. What you want to do is, if your finances are direct deposited, then set up auto bill pay with your bank. Just go to your bank, set up auto bill pay. You set up the schedule, so that way you never have to miss a payment. Right? Now, one of the things, like I have rental property, and if you look at your mortgage statement, it says late after the 15th, or so if your mortgage payment is $1,250, after the 15th, you have to pay $1,275. You got to pay a $25 late fee. Well, I never pay. I did not pay the mortgage when it was due. It's due the 1st. I paid it sometime between the 1st and the 15th, right? It was all set up on auto pay. I held on to the money as long as I could before I was charged a late fee. Many a times when you set up the auto bill pay, if it's Chase, if it's your own bank, it can hit maybe in 24 hours. If it's another bank or company, it can hit between 48 and 72 hours. So once you figure that out, if it's late on the 14th, I'm paying it on the 11th, right, through the bank, so it shows up on the 14th. If it's late on the 15th, I'm paying it on the 11th, so it shows up on the 14th. So I held on to the money as long as I could but it never hit them late. One of the challenges, I don't know if you realize this, some things like with the church, some things we pay via mail, okay? And there has been a delay in the mail, especially in Georgia. It seems like they opened up a new distribution center. And since the distribution center has been set up, mail has been delayed in Georgia. So we're paying the utility bills. I pay it with plenty of time, right? I'm not doing it we don't have bill pay set up with the church. So I'm sending old fashioned with a stamp, mail and a stamp. I'm sending it there with plenty of time, and then they're sending me a late notice stating that it wasn't paid on time, and they're tacking on a late fee. So clearly, I'm going to have to do something different, maybe pay via phone or pay via the website. Well, what I'm saying to you, there's multiple ways of paying without incurring. There's a detriment, number one, to your credit score, but number two, you're paying a late fee. So it says payment history accounts for 35% of your FICO score. Okay. And what you want to do, you want to set up auto pay. And if you're strapped, even if you're doing the snowball method, you can set up the minimum payment on your credit card, right? So if you're doing the snowball method and you're doubling up, right? For the other accounts, you pay the minimum, you set it up whereby it's auto pay and it does not negatively affect. Remember, what we're talking about here we're talking about increasing your credit score, okay? And repairing credit. So this is what we're talking about here, repairing credit. I know we're merging some other things in here, but I just want to make sure when we're talking about like credit and credit card, stuff like that, we're focusing on the aspect of we're trying to increase our credit score. Okay. So another thing in terms of your credit score, some of you have maxed out your credit cards. And one of the things you have to understand is credit utilization accounts for 30% of your credit score. Okay. It talks here, you can calculate your utilization rate by dividing your total credit card balance by your total credit card limits. Okay. So one of the things you can do, and it's also down in 7. 7 says avoid applying for new credit. We talked about this when dealing with your credit cards. You may want to contact your current credit card company and ask them to increase your limit as opposed to going out and applying for a new credit card. Okay. So if the more credit you have and the less that you're using of that credit, right, that maintains a low credit utilization. Understand that? So if you have a credit card and it's maxed out, if it's $1,000, call them up and say, hey, could I get it raised to $1,200 or $1,500? Okay. And my nephew, he does that periodically. Every 6 months or so, he's just calling. And there's a limit. I think they'll tell you how often you can increase your credit limit. But the more credit you have, the more credit people will want to give you. The more credit you have and you're not using, the more credit people will want to give you. Okay. So, and again, we talked about this dealing with credit cards. How many credit cards should you have and things like that. And I told you, we talked about this in terms of utilization, different reward points, different credit cards tend to give you different rewards. So if you travel a lot, you might want to get a credit card that will give you 2-3% back when you buy traveling. Some gives you more points. So we talked about credit cards last month. Go back and pull up that. But all I'm saying to you is you got to understand the credit card utilization. Okay, it affects your credit score. So you want to keep it low. If you're maxed out, look to increase your limits. Right. So you go from 100% utilization. If you have $1,000 credit card and it's at $1,000 and they increased your limit to $1,500, immediately your credit score goes from 100% utilization to 75% utilization. Right. You see that. So just basic math. We talked about we talked about paying off debt with the snowball effect. Paying off debts will increase your credit score. All right, that's understandable. We talked about avoid applying. No, we didn't. We're saying avoid applying for new credit. So whenever you apply for new credit, the lender checks your credit report. Okay. So, and this is what we say here. My notes to myself is request a limit increase on your current credit cards. If you start applying for new credit cards, if one gets rejected and you apply another one that gets rejected, those are negative hits to your credit report. Okay. That will lower your credit score. So it's better. You already have a relationship with Wells Fargo. You already have a relationship with Chase. You already have a relationship with Capital One. You already have a relationship with the vendor. You've been paying the financial institution. You've been paying them, right? Now that you've been paying them, and you've been paying them on time, they see your credit history. Call them up, say, hey, I'm requesting you increase my credit. Sometimes you can go online to these, you log into the website and just do it online. You didn't even have to talk to anybody. Okay. We talked about number 8, dealing with credit cards. Once you pay off the credit card, once you pay off the credit card, don't close the account immediately. Why? Because we're back to credit utilization. So you paid off that $1,000 credit card. So say you have 3 credit cards, $1,000 each. You paid off one. Immediately, your credit card utilization is going to go down, right? Based upon the fact that now you have $1,000 credit available to you. When you pay off the second one, then you go from a 30% utilization because you have 1,000 being used, a 33%, 1,000 out of 3,000, right? So then you might look to maybe close one, so you go from 30% utilization to 50% utilization. But all I'm saying to you, these are the things you have to take into account, because now you're trying to increase your credit score. You can always, if you're not disciplined enough and you don't trust yourself now that you paid off the credit card, just cut the credit card up, right? Leave the account open, just cut the credit card up. So, or, we have a strong box here. Put it in your security deposit box or your strong box or your safe, right? So you're not walking around with it. So you don't have it on accessible to you to use. Okay. But this is why they tell you not to cut up the credit card, not to close out the credit card. And if you don't, one of the things for those of you who have multiple credit cards, and if you don't use the credit card in a 12 to 24 month period, the financial institution will reach out to you and say, hey, if you don't use the credit card, we're going to close it, because that just reduces their risk of the credit card falling into the wrong hands and potentially creating a financial liability for them. So if you want to use the credit card and keep it open, you're going to buy something you would buy anyway. Buy your gas, fill up your tank, right? That way it stays open for another 12 months. Okay. So the next couple here, apply for a secure credit card or get a credit bill or loan. So if you remember, what are we trying to do? We're trying to build our credit score. So if you don't have a good credit score and you're trying to build the credit score, and the financial institution is not willing to risk giving you a credit card, what you can do is go to your bank or your credit union and see if they have the ability for you to get a secured credit card. And the limit will just be based upon the amount of money you put down, right? So both the secure credit card and the credit builder loan requires that you put down security, and basically all you will be doing is utilizing your own finances, right? So you have the credit, but it's secured by something. So when you buy a house, it's secure. When you take a loan for the house, the loan is secured by the house. when you took a loan for a car, the loan is secured by the car. In this case, you're really taking a loan out, but it's secured by your own money. Okay, or something that's tangible. If you have gold, you can put the gold down, but something is tangible that meets the value of either the secured credit card or the credit bill alone. And again, what are we talking about? We're talking about the ability for you to increase your credit score and rebuild your credit, right? And you're able to take these steps yourself without having to hire someone to do these things for you, okay? And finally, what they talk about is getting credit counseling. And if you're listening to me, that is exactly what you're doing at this point. So you're already doing that. Okay. Okay. So we're going to move on. I'm just going to see if there are any questions. Okay. We're going to take a moment right now. I'm going to look at the chat. See if you guys have...
There is one, but I think it may have been cleared up. There was a question that stated, what does credit utilization mean? Is that how you use your credit cards?
Now, the credit utilization score is how much of the credit limit you are using. Okay, so if you have $1,000 credit card, if you have a credit card with $1,000 limit and you're using 500 of that, your credit utilization is 50%.
Okay.
Right? If it's maxed out, the credit utilization is 1,000% or 100%.
Okay.
So what they're doing is to see how much credit you have available and how much of that credit you are using. Okay. So that's a very good question.
Okay. I didn't see any others, and I'm looking right now for the moment. Okay. I didn't see any others.
Okay. Yeah. If you have any questions as we're going along, just feel free to put it in the chat and we'll definitely address it. So you know we talked about, okay, how to get your credit report, review the credit report, steps you can take to increase your credit score. Okay. Now, one of the things, if you hired a credit company, someone to repair your credit, what they're going to do is look to see to dispute any information on your credit report. So this is one of the things you're going to want to learn how to do for yourself as well. Okay. And we talked about you getting the credit report, you know, which different bureau. We gave you the phone number as well. We'll show you at the end very shortly. We'll also show you the websites for these. So this information is public. It's all available to you. No sweat, right? So now you spot a discrepancy on your credit report. What do? Right? Well, if you spot a discrepancy, you have to dispute the credit information. And there are ways for you to dispute the information. The easiest way is online, right? But you can also do it by phone. And this one, we pulled this information from Experian. So this is the Experian phone number. But you're able to get that information for the other two from the website, right? We'll show you that. And then you could do it by mail. So one of the things you have to be aware of, and we're going to show you some information. So if you dispute something and it didn't work out the way you liked, and then you're trying to dispute it again. So when you go online, the dispute center on some of them, you can only dispute that specific item one time online. It won't allow you to dispute it again if you didn't like the results and you want to dispute it again. So then you would have to go about disputing it by mail or by phone. Okay. And you're going to see why I'm telling you this shortly. Okay, and it's very straightforward, very simple. Okay, because the website, the credit company's website, when you do it online, makes it very straightforward for you to be able to do this. So you go to the dispute center, okay, indicate the reason for the dispute, review and submit the dispute. It's simple as that, right? And any supporting documentation you may have, you're able to supply that as well. But I had to dispute some information again because of the individual who committed identity theft against me. And again, you remember what you're doing is you have to manage. You have to manage. You know, we talked about road financial freedom and people focus on that money aspect of it. But there are other things, there are other components that you have to be aware of. You have to be on top of because it affects your money. So your credit score affects your money. When you go to get a loan for a car, those of you who have taken these steps, you know, it's a vast difference. When you're walking in there, you have a down payment, you already secured the loan with your credit union. You know, when you walk in and you have your I's dotted and your T's crossed and you have a great credit score, it's an in and out situation, right? They're not calling anybody to try and shop to get you a loan. I walked in when I went to buy the Porsche. I had already gotten secured by the credit union, and then all the dealer tried to do was try to see if they can get me a better deal than the credit union, because again, they want the sale, right? They want the commission from the financial institution. So yeah, he's already got a loan secured for $30,000 at 3.5%. Can you beat it? Right? And it's like, yo, we ain't staying here all day. You know, I'm already ready to go. Right? So it's a different mindset. It's a different position to be in once you have taken the ability to secure your credit report, when you've taken the ability to increase your credit score, once you have a relationship with financial institutions, and don't just focus on the big guys, the Chase, the Wells Fargos. If you have the ability through your job or through the military to get with, I think it's NCAA. No, I forgot I see the ad all the time for you to be able to join the credit union. Join the credit union, put $100 in there, open an account, deposit $100. Because again, it gives you flexibility when it comes to looking for loans, looking for mortgages. Okay, the ability for you to be able to get multiple options, looking to get a credit card. Okay, so then here they'll tell you what happens once you submit the dispute. Okay, after you submitted the dispute, this is Experian. Experian goes to work to resolve the issue. Okay, then you follow up on tracking whether it's open, updated, or dispute results ready. Okay, and the possible dispute items. Okay, so related to accounts of public records, related to personal information, and the dispute will affect your credit score. Not disputing does not affect your credit score, right? So you having a dispute with them, a disagreement with them, does not negatively affect your credit score. What potentially may affect your credit score is once the dispute is resolved. So if it's resolved in your favor, your credit score can go up. Okay. So what happens if you don't agree with the outcome? Then you may have to contact the institution or the source, right? You may have to deal with them directly. So say you were delinquent with a loan and you negotiated with the company to pay it off. And with that negotiation came, they had to remove it from your credit report within 30 days. And on the 31st day, they had not done that. You would contact that company and said, hey, based upon our agreement, I paid off. I held up my end of the bargain. This is supposed to be off of my account. Say, oh, sorry, Mr. Buckmeyer, we'll take care of that right away. Give it another week and then pull the credit report again. Okay. So sometimes you may have to go back to the source. You can also add a statement to your credit report saying, hey, this happened. I had this agreement with this company. Here's the documentation of the agreement. Okay. They never fulfilled their end of the bargain. Okay. Or the company went out of business and they filed for bankruptcy, and I can no longer get in contact with the company in order for them to resolve the issue. Okay. So again, you have the ability to put a statement on your credit report explaining the information. Okay. And if you get subsequent relevant information, you can dispute it again, except that you may not be able to do it online. You may have to whether call the credit bureau company or mail them. Okay. Because sometimes online is limited. Okay. Any questions? We're moving forward. Looking at the chat, seeing if there's any questions.
Nope, not right now.
Okay, so we're moving forward. So I want you to listen to this, because this is something that I learned in the process of preparing for this, and I'm not sure how many of us are aware of this, but this is a cheat code here. So buckle up.
Credit repair hack number 37. As you may know, when you dispute a negative item on your credit with the 3 credit bureaus, like a late payment, a collection,
You may want to turn it up.
objective is to highlight inaccurate, incomplete, or unverifiable information on the credit report.
We're going to start again.
Incomplete or unverifiable information on the credit report.
There we go.
For more credit tips, credit repair hack number 37. As you may know, when you dispute a negative item on your credit with the 3 credit bureaus, like a late payment, a collection, or a charge-off, your main objective is to highlight inaccurate, incomplete, or unverifiable information on the credit report so that they must delete it. However, what some of you may not know is that when Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion receive the dispute that you just sent, they turn around to the smaller companies like LexisNexis, Innovis, CoreLogic, and ARS, also known as secondary credit bureaus. When the big 3 reach out to the smaller 4, they're trying to verify information that you recently disputed in order to keep it on your credit report. The problem is that 98% of the time, the information is going to match up, which is why when you dispute it in the past, it comes back as verified. Here's what you can do about it. The way to combat this verification process is to put a security freeze on each of the 4 bureaus so that they cannot access that credit report and cannot verify the information. Once you place these security freezes on, wait 2 weeks, then dispute again with the 3 credit bureaus and watch what happens to your credit repair results. If you'd like step-by-step instructions on how to put those freezes.
Wow. Who knew?
Yeah. And some of you may have known, some of you may have had disputes with the credit card company, and it didn't come off. So what they were talking about in the video is you disputed the main 3. You disputed from Experian. So you did. I closed up the wrong thing. So you disputed from Experian, right? TransUnion. And the third one, I didn't open up the third one. Who is this? But so, and again, I want you to see the website because you know the big 3, right? And you have the ability just to go and you do the disputes here. Okay, I pulled up the credit freeze, but this is where you would come to do the disputes. And we could show you that, but then they go out and they reach to the smaller 4. So we'll walk through this slowly so you can capture the websites. Okay. So what it's talking about is and this is a good hack. So instead of disputing, right, freeze your credit on the -4 first, right? So that way, when they go to check, it's already frozen, right? So I pulled up ARS, right? You see the URL address, and under there is you just click on add a security freeze, right? If you're a consumer, you'll be a consumer. Click and continue, right? And with all of these, you're going to have to fill out your information, name, mill, right? You just fill out your information, the date you want freeze, any documents, review, and then complete, right? And you could freeze and unfreeze your credit information. You know that if any of you who follow Clark Howard, he tells you, again, if you don't want people, so if a credit card company is going to solicit you for a new credit card, they may check your credit report. And if you don't want them doing that, you can freeze it, right? And that's on the main three, but this is the -4. So you have ARS, Innovis, same thing, okay? You go online, submit a security freeze request online, and these are all websites. So just go in and fill out the information online, okay? Right? Same kind of thing. Request a security freeze, temporary lift security freeze. See?
Honey, what are the name of those? I can put them in the
So that's
the
why
chat.
I'm walking through. So it's ARS.
Because the screen is not we can see it's not as large, so it's difficult to see. So that's why I wanted to put it in and highlight it.
I'm zooming in. Can you see that? I mean, I see it on my screen.
Yeah, that's a little better because I'm looking at it from the Facebook side. I just want to make sure that people can see it. It was kind of small. Let me see now if that's better. Well, I can see it better. It is a little larger.
Yeah, this one is ARS.
Okay.
It's I can put it in the chat, and you can
yeah, I can put it on the thing.
The first one is ars.consumeroffice.com. Make sure I got that right. The second one that he talked about was Innovis.
I don't see it. Where'd you put it in there?
I put it in the private chat in
Oh, okay.
StreamYard.
I'll grab
So
it.
you can cut and paste it.
Got it.
So the second one is Innovis. Okay, and I'm giving you the URL to the
Yep, I see it.
the main page, and then as you can see, you would just once you get to the main page, and this with Innovis is the main page, then personal information, right? Then security freeze, and that's how we got here. And then submit a security freeze online. Okay. The third one he talked about was LexisNexis. I should have just did this, shouldn't I? Yeah, I've gotten smarter. I'm giving you the full URL. You can cut and paste it. So that way people will have it. And primarily, this is what you would be paying a security credit repair company to do. And now, yeah, you can do it yourself. And same thing here. To give you the information, request the security for yourself online. And it's just a matter, you should be able to type your own information. All right. My web is slow. That's because both Pastor Nedra and I are streaming. But so the first three are easy to do on because you can do it online. The fourth one is a challenge. So the core logic that he talked about, I'll just give you the website for core logic. But when you Google core logic security freeze, what it does, it takes you to a PDF form. So it's not specifically on their website. Okay, it takes you to this core logic form that you have to fill out, okay, and send to them. So that was the only challenge. The first three, ARS, LexisNexis, and Innovis, allow you to set up the security freeze on their website online. CoreLogic was not that helpful or supportive. Okay, so CoreLogic is the only one, and what I would recommend you do is the same thing I did, which is just go to Google and do CoreLogic. You see credit freeze, CoreLogic credit freeze. And no, it didn't come pull up. Let's do CoreLogic security. Let's see, freeze. And what it came up for me was a PDF. Okay, so what's going to happen is you're going to get a website that says fill out the form. Okay, so I guess there are multitudes of companies that do this for them, but as you see, right, it took me to this form, which you have to fill out. So you have to print it. Well, this is a PDF, so you can fill out the information online. You can fill it out, right? And then print it out and then fax it. Or call them or mail it, either way. But all I'm trying to get you to understand is of the three minor credit bureaus that he talked about in the video, ARS, Innovis, LexisNexis allows you to freeze your credit by doing it online. CoreLogic, in their infinite wisdom, have not adopted the ability for you to do it online. So you're going to have to Google, find the form, fill out the form, and either fax it to them or mail it to them. Okay. Now, once that happens, the disputing of the credit report. So now, you know, so you see here, Experian, just do disputes. And it walks you through how to start a new dispute. Right. Same thing with TransUnion. Dispute your credit report. I mean, you guys are more than capable because the information now is just right in front of you. And if you have any questions, call the credit bureau. They have customer support. Okay. So the whole idea, what we wanted to show you on tonight is how, number one, you can save a significant amount of money. Because I've had people do this, you know, in the church. I remember one guy, we were teaching on finances, and he's like, I can pay this company to do a debt consolidation loan, and they'll manage it for me. I'm like, why would you pay them to do that? Why don't you just do it yourself, right? Call up the same thing they're going to do. Why would you pay somebody to do the same thing you can do? It does two things for you. Number one, it saves you the fee, right? And number two, it gives you experience and knowledge. Now you have a knowledge to do this, and you're able to share with someone else. You're able to share with a family member, okay? You have the experience, and it's not that hard. It's not that hard, right? Because in order for the credit repair company to do it, you have to give them the information anyway. All they're doing is being the middle man or middle woman between you and the credit bureau. You have to provide all the information for them to go and enter it in, right? Yes. Eliminate them and enter it in yourself.
Honey, I just want to interject one thing really quickly. We are streaming on 3 platforms: Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Instagram normally gives you an hour, and we're approaching the hour in about a couple of minutes. So I just wanted to let those on Instagram know that if the feed goes out, that's why, because Instagram will only do an hour. We are still live on Facebook and my YouTube channel. So just FYI.
Okay. Well, if you're on Instagram, I'll interject this now. So we're wrapping up anyway, because that's what we wanted to discuss this week. And primarily, we always advocate and request you guys support us in our endeavor to bring this information to you. If you have any questions, please put it in the chat right now. Your questions might be helpful to someone else who's listening on the other platforms. So Pastor Nedge will be monitoring that. But while she's doing that, that's the information we had for you on this week, for you to be able to increase your credit score, get a free credit report, dispute your credit report, and if you don't get the results that you were expecting, potentially why is because you have the 3 major, and then something many of us weren't even aware of is the 4 minor, right? So the little time we have left, I just asked Pastor Nedge to put up the ability for
Are you going to remove your screen back there?
Yeah. So the ability for you to support us via Cash App. And again, we thank you for your continual support. What that allows us to do is to take the money and turn around and invest it in educational programs for myself. So the information I give you is accurate, number 1, beneficial, number 2, and what's the word? Productive, usable, relevant. Relevant is the word. Okay. So we want to make sure that the information that we're providing to you is relevant, helpful, and again, helps you on your road to financial freedom. Okay. So at the end of the 12 months, you can have a 750 to 850 credit score. There's no reason why you can't, no matter what your credit score is right now. All those things are just algorithms, right? You just have to understand what you need to do, what lifestyle changes you need to make that will affect your credit score, right? And there are certain things you can do simply by setting up a bill pay and paying things before the late. You save yourself a lot of money by knowing when things are due and paying it before the late, even if it's just a the minimum. Okay. So yeah, it'll affect you negatively, maybe from an interest standpoint, but it won't negatively affect you from a credit score standpoint. And that's what we're dealing with today, the credit score. Okay. And that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that each of you guys understands, you have a credit report, understand a credit report, and the things that you can do to dispute your credit report, and steps you can take to increase your credit score. So at this time, questions. We'd like to address your questions. What do we see?
Don't see. Thank you, Erica.
Someone requested Zelle. Zelle is
okay, good.
just 404. Oh, you put yours? Okay, you put yours.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay. All right. I didn't see any questions. Looking back, so I think we are good. Wait, let me see. And there's some comments. Nope, don't see any.
Well,
We
before we
thank
sign off,
everyone for
anybody,
coming.
if anybody has any testimonies, we've gotten some
Mm,
testimonies. People have spoken to me in the church of
mhm.
some of the things they've done. People have paid off bills. People are getting debt free. If you could just, yes, Erica
Yes,
says, can we go
Erica.
back and listen? Yes.
Yes, you can. My YouTube, all of the sessions, 1, 2, 3, and of course 4, they are all on my YouTube channel. I'm going to put the link in the chat so you can see that, but they are all there. So you can go back and they're numbered, session 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you'll see the graphic that we've been using for Road to Financial Freedom. We started in January and it's normally the 4th Tuesday of the month. So yes, you absolutely can go back, Erica, and listen to the previous ones that are out there. I'm going to put my YouTube channel in just the link of it so you can get there. I'll copy it and paste it in there in a second. But yes, you can.
And please, please, please share the information. Right. We believe this information is beneficial and helpful. I mean, it's only an hour of information, and you don't have to sit down and digest it all in one sitting. You can break it up and take it in bite-sized chunks, 15 or 20-minute chunks. But the whole idea is to get this information out there. One of the challenges in our community is that information like this is not taught. And we end up being consumers and having to pay for information that's relatively available to us. It's just that no one has brought it to our attention. Okay. The Bible says our people, my people, God speaking, my people perish for lack of knowledge. And it's not the knowledge that they were ignorant of, it's the knowledge that they rejected. But you can also perish for information that you're ignorant of. So we have this information. We just want to share this information. We want to make you knowledgeable. And again, in our society today, you don't have to be an evangelist. You don't have to be a financial guru in order to be able to help someone financially. All you have to do is say, hey, there's this guy, Kurt Buckmeyer, and his wife. They're teaching on finances. They have these sessions out there. You can go and educate yourself. And a lot of the things, if you're on Instagram, if you signed up for any of these groups, financial groups, they're always trying the type of information they share with you, but they do it with you trying to get you to purchase something. We're not trying to get you to purchase anything. We just want you to be financially healthy, financially sound, and be placed on a road to financial freedom. So you can turn around and educate your children, your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews. Yeah, so they one of the challenges we have in our community is, we don't operate from a position of generational wealth.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to position ourselves, first of all, to be financially sound, to give good financial information. And then we're going to look to bring individuals in that can help us build generational wealth.
Yes. Look at Sierra does have I put her testimony on the screen. Do you see it? She says she finally reached 700 club with her credit.
Yeah,
Do
she's
you
not
see it?
outside somewhere. Yeah, I'm looking at it. I see it. You go,
Yay,
girl.
Sierra!
So now we're trying to get you to the 800 club.
Yes. Yes, Erica, generational blessings. And that's one of the things that's in our community. Now, I'm not saying everyone, but what I have seen in our community, when an individual passes away, there's a GoFundMe, there's a fish fry, because there has not been the proper aligning and
Preparation.
setting up,
There's preparation.
preparation for things like that that will happen. And it's very unfortunate, but it's the absolute truth. This is what happens. So yes. I was just checking to see if there were any other questions or testimonies I missed. Oh, we love you, Sierra. But yes, I didn't see any more, honey.
Okay. Well, you can sign us off then.
Okay, well, listen, we are thankful that all of you have joined us tonight. This is a 12-month series. So in the weeks that you are not joining in, you absolutely can go back. The first one was in January, and they are on the YouTube channel. So you can easily find them on YouTube as opposed to Facebook, because Facebook has all other different things, posts and all sorts of things. So you can go directly to YouTube and find each session. You're able to go back and go through them. And also, if you are just joining us for the very first time, there was a budget packet that we made that we made available for individuals who are working through to see what your debt was, what your income, what you were taking in, what needs to come out, so that we can start to see where you are. I'm gonna copy that bit.ly link and put it into the chat as I am talking, but it'll help you to get figure out what it is that you owe and what it is that you what do you have coming in. So many have already worked through that budget packet, and we started out in January. So I am going to put a copy of that bit.ly link right here in the chat. I just found it. Here you go. So if you click on that,
And
it'll take
also put out email, pastor's email, if anybody wants to reach out to us.
it's
Have any
also
questions.
it's in there, but we'll do that as well.
No, that's fine. If it's already there, don't
No,
need
but
to do it
everybody may
again.
not be going back there, but I'll put it there. I'm putting the emails in here now. Okay. So that's the bit.ly link for the budget document. It's a packet that you work through, and these are our email addresses. Yes. Valenta had mentioned we would be teaching on investing. Yes, we will. I don't know what month that is, but yeah, and I think he's going to be inviting a guest as well to participate in that. Sean Thomas, as it relates to investing. Is that right? You will. I don't know what month
Yeah.
it is. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, you
Yes,
have
but
to stay tuned.
yes, stay engaged. But yes, we definitely. So we have 8 more months to go, and it is the 4th Tuesday of every month. But closer to the end of the year, we'll switch some dates because of the holidays. But we'll definitely let you know. You're welcome, Valenta. We'll definitely let you know what those dates are. But that's towards the end of the year. So yes. All right, I think that's it. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Listen, share the broadcast, share it out, because we know that this is going to be beneficial to individuals. It may seem like it's common information, but everyone doesn't know how to, one, increase their credit score, or to be able to dispute and get things that have been on their credit score off. And then we just got that little hack, that little trick tonight that Pastor shared with us as it relates to the 4 secondary credit reporting centers that and what to do when you want to freeze your credit. So definitely, if you need to go back and look at that, all the links, all of the information will be still in the chat when you come back and look. And so you have all that valuable information. So make sure that you're cleaning up your credit reports, because that is vital to your financial solvency. So being, being financially free, because it's not just like Pastor said, as it relates to what's in your bank account, it's what's on your credit report. So yes, make sure that you're taking care of that. And so with that, we are thankful for all of you that have joined us. Share the broadcast. This information it is a blessing, and it's an investment. We're investing within you because we want to see you financially free. Amen. Thankful to each of you who have joined on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. We thank all of you. So share on all platforms, and we are about to head out. So have a great night. We'll see
Good
you
night,
next.
everybody.